Hello, how are you doing today? Just let me get some stuff set up here. Episode number 1 of 8-Ball 101. A new live stream that I just started and conceptualized, and I hope really takes off. Hey Jeff, how's it going? Guy, how you doing, buddy? Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know in the chat. I'm just adjusting my camera here. And yeah, just gonna wing this first episode here and see where it goes. But what do you guys think of the concept? The idea is to build a community here where we can all grow together as amateur players. And I love 8-Ball. And I'm excited to be joining a summer league team shortly. So I put an end to my straight pro pool practice, and now I'm going to be practicing 8-Ball. So I thought, why not have as many people join me as possible, and let's create a community and let's talk about it and improve. You know, that's the goal of my channel. So you know, let's get there. Let me see here. I'm just trying to straighten this out so it's, oh, that's way worse. Bear with me here. Just trying to get it just right. That's pretty decent. Away. And okay, I'm bringing up the live chat now. Hopefully this works. Let's get this table centered a little bit. Man, it's backwards, so it's hard to get it going. Yeah, I hope so, Jeff. Hey Jeff, what's your level of play? Are you in Canada? Do you play VNEA? Do you play BCA? Do you play APA? What's your level of play? Nice, thanks, Guy. There's a bit of a lag, so just got your message now. I wish it was a little bit better, but I'm hoping to get a computer and get this improving. So the first thing we're going to work on, I think, is today what I want to talk about first, get started, is the first thing we do in league pool, and that's the break shot. So I'm not amazing at the break shot. My friend Guy in the chat has an awesome 8-ball break. I have a couple of different options that I use, and I think today for a first episode, what I'll do is I'll go through the break shot, what I do, why I do it that way, and when. And then on every episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 3 to 5 racks, talking through each one of my decisions, why. And as situations come up, if anybody has any questions about what to play here or why I played a certain ball, if I didn't explain enough why I did that, then we could talk about it. And I'm hoping that people will be like, I would have done this. Why did you do that? You know, because that way I can also learn, and we can learn together as a group. So the first thing I'm going to touch on is when you're practicing for pool league, you can see this might just be me, but this is a beautiful set of Predator Arcos 2 balls, okay? Now, granted, my table has Simonis, and the bar tables I play on are not anywhere as good as this table that I have right here. I've shimmed my pockets a little bit tighter. They're like maybe 4.25 at the point and 4" at the throat for the corners. So they are a little bit tighter. But the first thing I do when I decide I'm going to practice for league pool is I change my ball set. I change to this standard ball set that they use on the wall mat tables. Is it as good as the Arcos? Absolutely not. It's not as consistent. They are made by Aramith, but they're nowhere near as consistent as you know, some of the higher ball sets out there, the premium sets. But with that being said, they also react a little bit differently. So when I'm practicing for 8-ball league, I want the balls to be reacting as close to what I'm playing with as possible, if that makes any sense. Okay, so that's the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this ball set and go to a more standard ball set. Right? Cue ball is especially important because this cue ball, this ball set is a lot lighter. So I find when I play with the Arcos or my Brunswick, I have Brunswick Centennials. I have a set of Cyclops. When I play with those and then I go to league, my cue ball is all over the place. It just doesn't work. So I'm going to see how well these rack on this alpha rack that I have going here. And if they don't rack well because they are a little bit worn, and I find with these racks, you want a perfectly round set of balls. And I can see they don't sit very well right off the bat. So what I'm going to be doing is, I should have already done this, but I'm going to remove the alpha rack, and I'm going to rack the balls with a triangle as well, because that's what I do in league as well. I don't use a magic rack when I'm at league night, you know. I rack them with the triangle. So there's tip number one. When you're practicing for league pool, try to make the conditions as close to league pool as possible. My friend Andreas, who has an awesome YouTube channel, Here After Billiards, go check it out. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. He does some amazing videos. He went down that route. When he bought his wall mat table, he had the choice to put Simonis, and he wanted the regular cloth because he wanted his table at home to replicate what we play on at league. He didn't change the cushions. He didn't change any of that stuff. Myself, I don't know. I love Simonis cloth. These are Ridgeback rails. They're 100% gum rubber rails. They're high end. And I like that stuff. So I kind of want to be able to go, you know, league side, or I want to be able to practice for diamonds. I wanted my table to be more like a diamond table, and it actually is. And I had an opportunity to pick up a diamond table, and it might sound crazy, but I absolutely love this table and the way it plays, especially now with the tighter pockets. I have no need for a diamond table. If I move, I might consider getting a diamond table or a Rasan table. From what I've seen, the Predator tables so far, I think they suck. Just my opinion. But, yeah. Okay, table at your house, going to look into local league. Yeah, Jeff, absolutely. You should look into local league. It is awesome, and it's great for your game, and it's great to meet other people that share your interests. My daughter plays it, my wife. Yeah, we enjoy playing. I've played league pool since 1996. So. Okay, here's your standard rack. All right, standard set of balls, standard rack. I should put a spot on there, but I'll just leave it for today, and I'll put a spot on there later. Yeah, junior league I did. But actually, guy, I already played Walnut before junior league came up, I think. Didn't I? Or was junior before that? Was juniors before 1996? Jesus. Okay, the break shot. I've learned a lot of different things about the break shot. A little bit of background. My parents used to own a billiard store, and my dad was an avid player, and so I've watched a lot of VHS videos, instructional videos, since the 90s. And there are so many tips from great champions. One of my favorites is Buddy Hall. That guy is incredible. In his prime, nobody wanted to play Buddy, ever. The guy was untouchable. Anyways, here's a Buddy Hall tip on the break. So on the break, I have a couple breaks I use. This is one. I go one cue ball off center line. I'm trying to hit the cue ball head on. I'm trying to hit the one ball head on. And trying to get a good spread. Get the cue ball, control the cue ball to the center of the table. Okay? So on our first rack, let's try that. In our league, let's talk about the rack a little bit. In our league, you have to have a stripe on one corner, and you have to have the solid on the other corner. Okay? I believe it's 3 balls need to hit the cushion, minimum. But let's just go over a couple of breaks that I like to use. And I would have a lot more runouts if I had a way better break, but I don't. So let's see. It's always important to look at your break tip while you're chalking, because these break tips nowadays, they're so hard. Some of them don't accept the chalk very well, so it's always good to have a look to make sure you got chalk on there. So the Buddy Hall tip from the VHS that I used to watch was, imagine a coin on the table out here. And when you break, you want your tip to land on that coin. Okay? So you're lining up, you're lining up your alignment here, your shot line. I'm looking at the one ball. I'm lining up. I'm coming down. And then on my follow through, I'm imagining like a quarter on the table right here. And as I break, I want my tip to stop right there at that distance. Okay? So let's give this a go. And I hit this around center ball. Now, because I have such a bad break stroke, like a bad golfer, I aim low, and when I break, my cue comes up. And I've done it wrong for so many years that I have a pretty good accuracy of hitting the center, but it looks like I'm aiming low. It's kind of like a golfer correcting for a slice, I guess. But I've been doing it for so long that it's just what I do. So let's try this. All right. That's one break that I do. And you can see I got a little bit of, I didn't get enough top on that break. We didn't make a ball. And I didn't hit it with a lot of power. So let's try another one. To be honest, one of the reasons why I didn't hit it with a lot of power is because I didn't want to welcome people to my first stream and then try to unload on a break and like rip the cue ball off the table into my couch or something, because that would be embarrassing. So I'm trying to teach you stuff, but I'm also trying to show you, show you how to do stuff properly, and sometimes that means I got to slow it down a little bit. Okay. Niels, Daryl Appleton, Cherberry, Dr. Dave. Yeah, Tor Lowry, yeah. Yeah, I like a lot of those channels. I'm a big Niels fan myself. So let's try that break again. little bit better control there. We made a couple balls on the break. We did get kicked back. And that's one of the breaks that I use in league. Okay? Now, thing about breaking head on, as we all know, and maybe you don't, you better make a ball, because in the higher levels of league pool, if you're not making a ball with a head-on break, you're going to lose. It's a one-shot game. But this series isn't about my level of play and the top tiers of amateur league. This series is about all levels of play, from beginners all the way up to A division. So D, C, B, A division players. Okay, so Fargo rates from 300 all the way up to 600, 200 all the way up to 700. Okay. You're going to see as we get more into this series that I do talk about different strategies for different levels of play. Depending on your level of play, the goal is always to get to the level where 8-ball is like a one-shot game or a one-turn game. But sometimes it's smart at the lower divisions to come to the reality that a lot of your games are going to take 3 or 4 turns at the table. Now, if you have a game of 8-ball where you have 3 or 4 turns at the table, that can allow you to play a different strategy. So we're going to talk about some of those strategies that I have for the 2-shot game, for the 3-shot game, and we're also going to get into an episode of safety play, and we're going to talk about safety play as I encounter racks where I would play a safety here. Like, let's say I get out of position. But let's carry on in the breaks. So that's your first break, the head-on break. Okay? Some people do it off the cushion. Myself, I like to have my hand on the table. Like I said, one cue ball off center. Trying to contact that and get the cue ball lined here with a nice spread. The next break is the second ball break, where you're trying to hit the second ball in the rack. And when we used to play league, and our opponents used to rack for us, and you couldn't ask an opponent to re-rack and re-rack and re-rack. It was rude. But sometimes they would give you a bad rack. So one of the things I learned to do in a bar situation, let's say, is inspect the rack and look where the spaces are. If I saw spaces behind the one ball where it was like this is an extreme example. So if it's just touching here, then that's exposing this ball more. So I have a better chance of hitting this ball square. And what I always tried to do when I was checking racks myself was to find contact at least to the back row. So if I could find contact through the 8-ball to the back row, that's where I would break. So if I could say the 15 was touching the 8, was touching the 5, was touching the 7, then I would break second ball from this side. If the 12 ball was touching the 8, touching the 6, touching the 4, then I would be breaking from that side. So I would try to follow the line of which balls are touching, and as long as I could get it all the way through the rack, I would know I'd get a good explosion. And that's how when I used to play in bar tournaments and that's how I would inspect the rack. So here's my second ball break. And please, if you have any info, making the original bridge touch shorter might help control. Absolutely, yeah. Because if you have a shorter bridge, you have a shorter backstroke, but when you do this, see how small the movement of the tip is? But if you do this, you see how big it is, right? So these players that are out here, you got to have a really true stroke for that. Because if you're a little bit out, you're a lot out at the end. But if you're here, it's a lot closer. Second ball break. I always grab 3 fingers and I go like this. 3 fingers, that gives me where I always break from second ball. I'm playing half a tip below center, and I usually use my playing cue to break second ball. Some of the players use the break cue, but I can't seem to control it very well. I have a friend named Rob, who a local player. He's a really good player, a provincial champion, and in league he loves to break second ball with his break cue, and he hits it really well. But he also has a really nice stroke, so it's harder to do. So here I'm bridging on the rail. So to do the rail bridge, I'm putting the old school, I put it up to my thumb and I put my hand over top. And I'm trying to contact the second ball, and I want the cue ball to come to the rail and back out. Back into the rack. Sometimes you want to play a little outside and you want it to come this way. Funny thing is, I have the best luck playing this break shot with the inside, like right spin, but then your cue ball goes underneath. And when your cue ball does that, there's a really good chance after it hits the second rail, it's going to contact this back row balls that are heading that direction, and you have a really good chance of scratching over there. So the best way to play this is straight bottom or a touch of outside, and you're trying to come here and out here. And a lot of the time you'll make this corner ball into that corner pocket. So let's give that a try. It looks something like this. Okay, so what happened there? Why did I scratch like that? Well, because I hit too low. Because I hit too low on the second ball, right? That's why. Let's try that again. I hope you guys can be patient with me and realize that I'm just an amateur player. I'm trying to explain the things that I know, and to try to explain things you know and talk to a camera and play at the same time. It's very challenging, but it's very beneficial to my game. So thanks for your patience. When I'm just playing, I can execute these a lot better than when I'm talking about them and explaining what I'm doing. But I hope to get better at this. So let's try it again. There we made the corner ball. We didn't quite get enough bottom on the ball, but we did make the ball and we have a decent spread. Okay? Now I'll show you that was with straight bottom. Now I'll show you one with a little bit of outside spin, and we'll try to get that cue ball a little more into the center of the table. And then we'll get into playing some racks. And we'll just get into it. 8-ball strategies as they come up. It's important when you're racking for yourself, you want to make sure you have those balls frozen all the way through. Okay, let's try this again. So I'm going to play it with a little bit of outside spin and try to get closer to the middle of the table. So the outside kept me out, but it kept me from scratching because I did, again, hit the ball a little bit lower than I wanted. And but you get the gist. That's your second ball break and your head ball break. I hope that was helpful in some kind of way. And those are the kinds of things you want to practice in. If you do want to learn about how to practice your break, I have an excellent video on practicing your break. So please go to my channel and check that out. Okay, let's start playing. Let's talk ourselves through a couple of racks. And some strategies. And what I'll do is I'll just talk about the ball pattern I'm going to play, why I'm playing it a specific way, and any feedback you guys have would be awesome. Yeah, okay. Okay, Guy, that's great. That's a great tip. Guy says the proper spot to aim a second ball break is to line up like you're shooting the second ball into the opposite side using a tip of bottom. So to line up shooting this into this corner pocket, right? Okay. Rack number 1. Okay, I didn't make a good contact for starters. And we didn't make a ball. That's fine. You know, it is what it is. Now we're going to spend a few racks and we're going to talk about, maybe what we should do is we should just break a few racks and we should talk about, are we going to take stripes or solids? How do we make that decision? Okay, and what are the factors to making that decision? This rack, I think it's really easy to see that these stripes are blocking these solids. So obviously over in this third of the table, its stripes get point number 1. In the middle section of the table, the 4 is actually a blocker for the 5. So the 4 has to get out of there before you make the 5, or you would have to bank the 5. So without even thinking about this third of the table, let's break it into, I like to break it into 3 sections. Okay? Now the middle section, stripes or solids? Well, the 14 goes, the 14 goes, the 11 goes, and the 15 goes. And the solids here have a bit of an issue. So for me, that's 2 points for stripes. Now in the bottom third, this 12 ball, you know, it's a little bit, it's blocked by the 7. And it does go by the 6. So here, you know, I actually, in this third, I actually like having the 2 balls. So let's just say I give this third to the solids. Well, that's 2-1 for stripes. That's one way to look at it. If you have multiple issues, that's how I like to break it down. But in this one, hands down, without a doubt, I'm taking stripes. Because, I mean, it's just, to me, this is very obvious that stripes are better. Okay? So let's break another one. And let's pick stripes or solids. And let's do a few like that. So we can see a couple of issues to help us determine, you know, are we going to shoot stripes? Or are we going to shoot solids? All right. Yes, I agree, that does. I probably do that without even thinking about it, Guy. But I do kind of do that as well. I'm just aiming to hit it as full as possible. So I actually usually aim to cut it like here, the second ball break. Because I want to hit it as full as I can without catching the 1 ball. So that's kind of what I do. But I see your point about cutting it in the corner. Less chance of contacting the head ball that way for sure. Here I'm going to break off the rail. Okay, we scratched from the break. Lousy break. Like I said, I have a terrible break. So, you know, it's probably my worst thing. I actually called Stephen Holem recently, and I asked him how much for some lessons to learn how to break. You know, the thing about becoming a better pool player is you can learn from anyone. You can learn from someone that you consider to not be as good as yourself. You can learn from them. You can learn from better players. But what I'm saying is you don't always have to learn from better players. Sometimes players at your same level or even a level below you have certain knowledge in certain aspects of the game more than you. And sometimes it just takes a fresh set of eyes. Someone who has a different way of looking at things can open your perspective and help you to learn something in a new way. So I have another friend, Corey. He often plays the barbox tournaments, and for a long time I've been asking Corey to give me a hand with my break. Corey has an outstanding break, especially in 8-ball, and I'd love to work with him on helping me to improve my break. You know what I mean? So you got to look to all your friends, all your colleagues, and that's what I'm trying to build here. I'm trying to build a community where we can all help one another. I have strengths, I have weaknesses. We all do. So let's help each other out to improve, and let's love the game. Okay, back to this one now. I got ball in hand. In VCA, it's ball in hand anywhere on the table. In VNA, what I play, it's ball in hand behind the line off the break. So that is a determining factor as far as which balls I'm going to play. Okay, so if we go by my rule of thirds here, in this third, I got, the stripe goes, the one ball is blocked, so I think stripes are a little bit better, even though it would be easy enough to give this a nudge because you have a ball here to break it out with. And you even have a ball to get position on just in case, a backup ball there. So, or if you wanted to get really sassy, you could play position right here, and I can already see it. You could shoot this one ball off this ball, and that would open up this problem as well. And you could, so you could run out solids here. But in this section, stripes are better. Okay? In this section, I still think stripes are better because this the 7 ball is all tied up. Over here, one of the determining factors I look at right off a break is the 8 ball. Where does that 8 ball go? This 8 ball goes in this pocket, and it also goes up into that pocket. It doesn't go into this pocket, so it goes in 3 pockets. Again, I like the stripes here. This table, I like stripes all the way. Okay? Let's try another one. Let's throw in, for guys' sake, let's throw in a little second ball trick here. The pattern rack, okay? Corey duel. Corey duel, four in a row here, and the V. Always put the V on the side that you're breaking from. If you like breaking second ball from that side, you want the V on that side, okay? If you're second ball breaking from this side, you want the V on that side. This is the Corey duel second ball break pattern rack, okay? This is, it's easy to talk about, but it's hard to hit it well. It is. You still have to hit this break well for it to work. And also, normally I'm over here, but I find on the Corey dual break, I'm over here a bit more. I'm a little more in the middle of the table. Okay, trying to hit second ball with bottom, and we should get a good even spread of stripes and solids. It was a bad contact, but you can see we got a pretty decent spread. More solids, or more stripes are there, more solids are here. You know, it was kind of a bad example. Let's try one more. Keep in mind, I haven't hit a ball since last Thursday. So the only balls that I have hit today are the ones you have watched live. And so just to give myself a little bit of a explanation as far as why I'm not stroking that pure. I'm not actually hitting the ball very square right now. My stroke needs to warm up. And the older I get, the longer I seem to need to warm up. Okay, let's try it again. Let's move just a little bit over. Weak break, but not bad. Okay, let's see. This is a good example because this is a tougher table. What do you choose here and why? Obviously, your opening shot is going to be something that you're going to take into consideration as well, which I don't really have much of an opening shot here. This 15 ball goes. This is a little bit of a mess for stripes. This 5 ball goes. You know, I think I might go for solids here. But again, I don't really have an opening shot. So, you know, I might try to leave my opponent not having a good opening shot here either. So that might be something I do. I don't know how I would exactly do that. You know, maybe leave them frozen here. At least leave them a tougher shot where, you know, they have to make a difficult shot. I could go for a shot. I could try the 3 off the 5. I guess I could cut this 4 ball into the corner. That's a shot, but I'm worried that I'm going to kiss this 15 and scratch. I have a bank shot here on the 6. You know, but I'm losing the cue ball into this pile of stripes, and why would I want to play a solid and then open up all the stripes for my opponent? These are some of the things that go through my head when I'm considering a rack, breaking and playing a rack of 8 ball, all right? Honestly, what would I play here? I would honestly look hard at, am I going to be able to pot this 4 and not touch this 15 and miss it? You know, because if I can, it's probably the shot because it's a clear shot. And I could get position on a couple of different balls with it. So, I mean, just for fun, let's try it. Just to see. Okay, and I missed it by a mile, but, you know, I would have had a shot had I made it. Okay, so in that rack, I would have definitely, that's what I would have went for. And probably would have lost. Okay, let's get one more going here where we can determine whether we want stripes or solids. And after this one, then I'm just going to show you some examples of things that come up that determine my decision. Okay? Okay. Let's try the Buddy Hall, so we're going to pretend and... Did you guys see that... what's her name from New York there, Jennifer Beretta? She had a new video today. Apparently her dad is works in physics, and she was working on her break, and he hit her with some physics. He said, you know, the longer follow through promotes longer contact with the cue ball, therefore a more powerful break shot. So in her video, she talked about how she's trying to increase her follow through And that's helping her to get more power on the brake, you know? So that's something to consider. Let's try that here. See if we can get a long follow through. It definitely felt like I got more power, but I had zero control. Zero control there. This is why I really need work on my brake shot. So let's try one more. I'm going to try a second ball brake with my brake cue. It's a little bit harder because you can't really get spin with it, but you don't have to hit it as hard to get a good spread. See? So like that's a great brake if you make a ball. In this case, it was a great brake for my opponent. So looking at this rack, the 13 and 15 are blocked by the 4 and 6. However, they do go into this pocket once these two balls are gone. That's something to consider. Like I've been playing a lot of straight pool, and you start to see things like that, blocker balls, things that are in the way of other balls, where that helps to determine the order in which you're going to shoot the balls. You also got a difficult shot, 15 into the side, 13 into the side. 13 might also go to this side. It does. So the 8 ball is blocked by the 3. And this is one of the things that I always say. The first place I go is to the 8 ball. The first place I go is to the 8 ball, and when I'm hang on a second, guys. Hang on. My dogs are freaking out. Okay. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
What are you doing? Oh, okay. That's all right. It's okay. No worries. Just let him bark a little bit. That's fine. It's okay.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry. My daughter just came to pick up a couple things from the house. No big deal. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at here, what I was talking about, is the 8 ball. When I look at a rack like this and I see that the 8 ball doesn't go, I think to myself, come here. Sorry, Paco's gonna talk about this this rack with us just for a second. This is Paco. Okay, he's 10 months old, and he's a happy little dude, and he really loves playing pool. So, and he likes long walks on the beach. All right. Anyway, so what I was talking about with this 8 ball situation is, right now I think to myself, I want to take solids. Why? Because I know I can make this 3 ball last, and once I make that 3 ball, that 8 ball will go. So that's something to consider looking at the 8 ball, right? Another way to look at it is, do I have a good stripe that I could use to break out that 8 ball? Whenever you do have problem areas in pool, you want to break them out sooner than later, if you can. So that's another thing to take into consideration. All right. So this rack, actually, I do like the stripes better than the solids. Hang on, Lola. Come here. Okay. Sorry guys, I wasn't expecting my daughter to pop by tonight, but so we're just gonna have to wait a minute. This is Lola right here, and this is Paco right here, and they're both 10 months old. They're little Chihuahuas, and they are my pride and joy. I love dogs a lot. So these guys are a lot of fun. Okay. All right. hopefully they'll not bark too much. But we'll just have to work through it. If they're gonna bark, we'll just have to work through it. So, sorry about that. I think in this rack, I would take the stripes, and I would try to figure out a way to break out that 8-ball. Because I don't really have a big opening shot for solids here, so that's a bit of an issue. Okay, so let's try the next one. And now, so what I'm talking about is this kind of scenario. Let's talk about a couple of scenarios here. Right? So here's a scenario where when I look at this 8-ball, it's okay, Lola. When I look at this 8-ball, let's say I see a pattern something like this. First thing I look at is this 8-ball is tied up, right? But I know through the rack that once I can shoot this ball in, see? Then I see that I can make this ball out of the way, which opens up this ball, right? And now look where that 8-ball is. It's in a great spot. I took those 3 solids out, and that 8-ball's in a good spot to be made. So that's what I'm looking at off the break shot. You know, I can visualize, yeah, the 8-ball's tied up, but I can see that the 3-ball goes, the 2-ball goes, and then the 8-ball's open. So in that case, I would definitely take solids, right? So just give me 1 second, guys. Let me just straighten some stuff out, and I will be right back. Okay, everybody, sorry about that. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for staying on, and thank you for not leaving. My daughter's just grabbing a couple of things for Mother's Day tomorrow, and we have a beautiful Mother's Day planned tomorrow. And yeah, thanks a lot for your patience. She's going to be out of here in the next couple minutes. You may hear the dogs freak out a little bit more, but don't worry about it. Okay, let's get into playing some racks, guys. Let's play some racks, and I'm just gonna play the racks. I'm just gonna talk about the pattern and why I choose it. So this stream is a work in progress. It's a concept that I came up with that I think is going to be beneficial, but it definitely needs your input for it to be successful, because we got to grow as a community. We got to help each other. Okay? Thanks, Jeff. Yeah. I also love dogs. Okay, so let's just see if we can get a good break. Okay, we made a stripe. And it looks like stripes are fairly open. We have a couple of shots at a stripe. We have a shot at a solid. We have a little bit of an issue here. Okay. In my league, it's open table. In your league, it might be take what you make. If it's take what you make, then you got to play stripes here, right? But in my league, it's open season, whatever you want. Also, in my league, you can play a straight solid or solid straight combo, and you can continue shooting. And in this particular rack, that is for sure the shot I'm going to start with, because I could see this combination. And if I can get this combination, that solves all the problems. The 14 goes. It's going to be tricky to get the position on the 14, but it does go into this corner. And the first shot I'm going to take is I'm going to take the 1-15 combination. And the next tricky shot I have to get on is this 14 ball. Another thing I look at next is my 8 ball. This is my 8 ball. And I try to run it backwards through the rack. Where do I want to be on the 8 ball to make it? Well, it goes in either one of these corners. But having a ball here, if I get nice on this ball here, I could easily shoot this ball, this 13 ball into the corner. Cue ball comes out, and that's the 8 ball in the corner. Okay. So now this is my strategy, is how do I work backwards in the rack? Okay. How do I get here? Well, if I'm on the right side of this 9 ball, it's a good natural position to get on the 13 ball. So, how do I get on the 9? Well, the 9 I could get on, if I got nice on this 14. How do we get to the 14? The 10. How do we get on the 10? We have to hopefully make this combination and get position on our 10 ball. And that's what's going to determine how easy this rack is. But I don't really have an amazing angle on this combination. So I can hit it a little bit this way, like on the left side of the 1, to make this combo, and I can get the cue ball out here, hopefully. And I'm going to look where I need to be. I need to be over here for that 10 ball. Now we know the whole pattern that we're planning to play. That's plan A. And sometimes we're on plan G by the time we run out of rack, right? We've all been there. All right, that worked out, and we got fortunate. We didn't tie up the 8 ball, so we're still on our plan here for this run out. So now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to look at this 14 ball, see where I need to be on that. And it's a little bit tricky here. I'm bridging funny, so I got to roll this, which is scary in a bar table. Not on my bar table, but in league it is kind of freaky. You don't want to roll balls if you can avoid it. Okay. Now, so 9-ball goes clean, but it's got about a half a pocket. And ultimately, I'd like to be on this side of my cue stick so that when I pot that, it gives me the natural angle to get under here for this 13-ball. It should be pretty straightforward because if I stop right there, I have a little bit of an angle, but not as much angle as I'd like. So I'm going to try to pull it back just slightly. But you don't want to get too risky because that 6-ball gets pretty big. You don't want to play some accidental bottom on there. And you notice my bridging is a little bit elevated here, so I could get a little bit of bottom on this ball. All right. Okay, so we have a little bit of an angle here. Now we're going to come over here and we're going to look at where do we want to be on this 13. Okay, this is straight in. I don't want to be too much over here, but I can be because I can stun across for the 8. It does go into the other corner. So if I came over here, that would be okay. So basically, anywhere in this triangle that I've created, if the cue ball lands anywhere in here, I should be okay. I don't want to be on the cushion though, because then I can't get under the ball at all. So I want to make sure that I don't, end up on the cushion. Another thing I don't want to do is I don't want to hook myself here. So I don't want to hit it too soft, right? And good practice is to hit the rail and come towards your position play, right? But in this case, because I have a large window, I don't want to get too risky trying to come too close to this 4-ball. So I'd like to pull away from it a little bit and try to bounce out to this area. Okay, so I'm going to look at my angle. I'm going to visualize. Right now I'm visualizing my shot. Okay, try to come out to that area. I'm going to play like 1 o'clock on the cue ball, just a little bit off center with a little bit of right hand side. Loose grip. Stay still. Okay. And that's not bad. So again, had this ball not gone into both pockets, I would have been way more particular on the triangle that I wanted to be in. I would have said, okay, this ball doesn't go over there. I want to be in like this zone. I would have really focused harder on my position, but I have a bigger option, so I don't want to stress myself with it. The key was to make the pot fall into our triangle, which we're slightly outside of our triangle, but we still have a natural shot. Pot this in, cue ball comes straight across, 8-ball in the same corner, and it's game over. So I play this ball with just a touch of left-hand side, and I just want to have a loose grip, stay still, stay down on the ball, come straight across. Right, I want to bounce off the cushion a little bit. I could have hit that a little bit harder. And now we want to play the 8 into the same corner. Okay? So look at the 8, look at your contact point. Then I step over to my contact point and I see my line. My rear foot is on that line, down into the shot. Focusing, I want to stay down on the ball. Just a nice loose grip. Stay down and follow through. And there we go, that's track number 1. I hope hope there was a little bit of knowledge gained there. If you would have played it a different way, let me know. Write down the timestamp. If you have other ideas, write down the timestamp. Make a comment. I promise to respond to all comments. Absolutely, 100%. I will go back and I will respond. I will check out what you suggested. I will take it into consideration and I will respond in kind. Cue ball control sometimes second, you like to hit the second rail to control the speed. That's a great tip. That's great advice. That's great advice to hit the second rail there and control the speed. Okay, let's try rack number 2. Okay, rack number 2, I see it right away. We got a few issues. We've got this 311 issue going on here. Other than that, the table seems fairly open. All right. So, a few ways to look at this. Now, this 13 ball, this 11 ball does go into that corner. But is there a ball that I can shoot? Is there a stripe I could shoot to get me to this position? It's a tight position. So normally I would say, yeah, it'd be nice to shoot this 15 in the side and be able to float down for that, but the 15 doesn't go in the side. So that's a problem. You know? If I'm on this side of the 9 ball here, I could shoot this 9 ball and I could stun across and get to that 13 ball. So maybe that's a consideration. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, so we have a bit of a tough opener here, you know. So that being said, what about the, the 15? It's actually not an easy ball. It's not an easy ball at all. It doesn't go into this corner. It goes into this side. The 15 does go into this corner pocket here, but very tight positionally to get shape on that 15 ball. But, you know, I do see a way out of this rack, but it requires extreme precise position. The way out on stripes is to shoot this 13 ball, get position on this 9, stun across for the 11, and play this window off the 11 for this 15 ball, and then clear up these 2 balls and come back for the 8 into the side or the corner. That's the plan for stripes, okay? For solids, well, does this 3 ball go? It does not, which means we have to break it out. Fortunately, we have a ball here that we can use to do that. We could either hit it pocket weight, come into the 3 and bump it into the open, and hopefully you need to hit the right hand side of the 3 ball so that the cue ball comes over here and the 3 ball goes over here. The other way is to shoot the 4 ball and contact the 11, bumping the 11 out of the way and hopefully giving yourself an angle, but usually you leave yourself a thin cut on the 3 into this corner pocket here. All right. We would probably want to get rid of this 2 ball before we did that, because if we shot the 4 and hit this 11, it could sit over the hole here and cause potential issues for this 2 ball. So that's something to take into consideration. All right. The only shot we have for solids is we have the 5 ball. All right. And with 5 ball, because we're so close to the cushion, we're naturally going to be playing a little bit of top. It's going to be a very difficult shot to play some stun or bottom on. And it's almost like we have to do that. It's going to be very difficult. We'll have to roll down here for a shot on the 7 in the middle, or we'll have to try to stun to try to get some stun or some draw and try to get it here for the 7 into the corner and go from there, you know. The 1 ball is not an easy ball. I don't think it goes by the 15 this way. It doesn't. So it's blocked by the 12 to that corner. It goes into the middle here. And once the 6 and 4 are gone, it will go into that corner. So maybe that's something to take into consideration. I'm going to have a look at the 5 and the 13, and I'm going to determine which shot is the best. I did realize I also have a long shot on the 7 ball, long clear shot on the 7. And that's interesting, because I could roll the 7 a little bit, and then I have the right angle on this 4 to break out my 3. So right now it's about even for me. It's about how confident do I feel on the shot. 13 ball, 5 ball, or 7 ball. Which shot do I feel the most comfortable with? You know? Because if you can't make the shot, you lose your turn. So you got to be playing what's comfortable for you. You know? And so I like to almost practice. This one, like, I'm jacked up. I got to pop that 5 in, but I can play a little bit of bottom. 13, you know, I can make it, but the stripes, you know, playing the 9 perfect, playing the 13 perfect for the 15, or playing this 11 perfect to hold for the 15, it's asking a lot, right? Certainly asking a lot. What do you guys play here? What's your out? Do you play stripes or solids, and why? 13 and roll up to the 12 in the side. 13 and roll up to the 12 in the side. Well, bang time, it's really hard to see right here, but I'm about this far off the rail here and right to the rail here. So playing this with top, I'm really risking coming into this 5. I know from that television angle, from that video angle, you might not be able to see that too well. But if you're just joining us, the thing I liked about kind of stunning the 13 is I can shoot this 9 ball and I can get over here for this tough ball, this 11, where I have to be in this area to be able to get it. Just because we have the 1 breakout, I'm going to say, and I have a pretty fairly straight shot for the 7, I'm going to play solids here. But I can see why someone would want to play stripes. But I think I feel more comfortable with this 7 ball shot here. Just rolling it in. Or the 5. Let's see. I don't know, man. This is a really tough opening shot. Really tough opening. You like the 5, then the 7 in the side, and try to break out with the 3. Okay. Yep, 5, 7 in the side, and then try to break out the 3. Oops, hit the post there. Yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad shot either, you know. Okay. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, so I'm going to call it heads as solids, tails as stripes. Tails. So we're taking stripes. So I'm going for the 13. Okay. I'm going to play this 9 ball. We got to get nice on this 11 because we're going to play for that tight window on the 15 next. Right? So we know we got to... We're not bad. Not bad on this 11. It's a tight window. Okay. Did get there on the 15. I'm going to play this with just a little bottom to kind of hold it. All right. Now I landed a little funny on this 12, but I have a natural angle to just roll underneath the 5 here and get a good angle. I always like to stop when we should always be stopping when we have 3 balls, right? So I know I want to be on this side of my cue ball to stun for this 8 into the middle, or stun past the 8, and we could play this 8 into the corner here as well. So just looking at where I want to be and taking a little breath. You know, this is where Josh Filler makes an awesome shot and walks around the table like this, and he's just gathering his thoughts and just taking a little, take a lap, eh? That's where you want to take a lap, because if you get down on this ball too quickly and you feel like, yeah, I got this rack, how many times have we dogged this ball? You know, we've all been there. So take your time. Take your time. Especially in league pool, you don't have anyone calling a 30-second shot clock on you. Take your time. Okay, got a good angle. Go. Not too bad. Now when you're playing the 8 ball, you know, consider what could happen, you know. I know some people that say when they play the money ball, they play position for another ball after. Well, sometimes you don't want to overcomplicate your shot, just shoot it in. But sometimes that's good if you find your mind wanders on your 8 ball. And the mentality behind that was when they're on the 8 ball, they kind of don't give it enough respect. Where if they say, okay, I'm going to shoot this 8-ball in, and then I'm going to play a shape for this 7 into the side pocket over here, so they know naturally their cue ball is going to bounce underneath, you know, that helps them to concentrate and make the ball. I've heard that. What is your trick for making the money ball? Me, I just try to make sure I don't scratch, and I've learned the key really is make all your decisions up here standing up. So when I look at this ball, I look at my contact point, I look at my tangent line, I visualize the cue ball and the 8-ball going in, I visualize the shot, and then I clear my mind after I've done my visualization. I make sure that I align myself right as I go down, and all I'm focusing on now is the shot. There's nothing else in my mind. And I'm just executing what I visualized. All right? So there we go. I hope that was beneficial. That was a pretty sick rack that we ran there. You know, like we had to have pinpoint position in like three areas. So that was not an easy game. Let's try another one. I don't know how long these talk-throughs are going to take, so what I'm trying to establish here on my first episode is how long does it take to go through like 5 racks? And then every week, without fail, I want to make sure that, you know, we're going through at least 5 racks at the end of it. So, you know, that's why you notice I didn't give a time for my stream. I had a starting time, but I don't know how long it's going to end. My straight pool sessions were like 3 hours. And I was hoping these were going to be maybe 2 hours or less. But it's going to depend on the community that we build here. And it's going to depend on how much benefit we're all getting from it, you know, and how much support I'm getting for my channel. So I hope some of this stuff is helping. If it is, please give the stream a thumbs up, share the stream, and let's move on to the next rack. Yeah, exactly. Bang time, we can't overthink it. And cue ball control, yeah, you couldn't be farther from the truth. You know, I was one rattled ball away from losing that rack at all times. But you know, I can't think that way. Like I have to see a way out, and I have to go for it. And part of the problem I had before was commitment. I would see a pattern, and then I'd be too wishy-washy, and I'd be trying to play too many, you know, two-way shots. Fact is, at the level I play, if you miss, you lose. Doesn't matter. Or your hook's solid. So, but yeah, definitely play the shots that you're more confident with. And I felt, honestly, right from the very beginning, I felt that 13 ball was a pretty confident shot for me. Playing the 5 and rolling forward to the 7. For me, it's not a shot I have a lot of control on. I would have rather shot that 5 and stunned to the middle for the 7. That's just my style of play. But, you know, doing a breakout, it's just as risky as, you know, we had to play some tight position. But the thing about the position is we could be a little bit out on the position and we could still make that shot. Where if you make a breakout and you don't break it out, then now you have to plan to break it out again. You know, a lot of bad things can happen. And I've learned if I can run the rack without touching any other balls, that's the way I want to do it. Because anything can happen. Okay. That's one of my biggest failures. Not getting a head-on hit. Not hitting them hard enough. Like you notice if you watch Shane or any of these guys who can smash the rack. They hit it so hard they get it past the side. So even if they do that, the cue ball is spinning and hitting this side, where I'm at that sweet spot where I think a lot of us are. If we don't get a full contact, or like a straight head-on contact, that top grabs a little bit and we're scratching into either side. And, you know, I can count, I don't know if I can count as high as I need to count to tell you how many times I've scratched on the brake and I've lost this game. This exact game here. So, you know. But anyway, let's get into it. Cue ball control is key on your brake. And I'm really looking to improve my brake. So any tips you guys have on the 8-ball brake and how to improve it, where to brake from, leave a comment. I really would appreciate it. I'm trying to build a community here on this channel. I can't say it enough. Let me just grab water. I'll be right back. All right. So CPA or APA, I don't know, is it in the States, in your leagues? You got the TAP league, you got all kinds of different leagues throughout the US. APA is one of the biggest ones. BCA and VNEA, which is what we play. We have all different kinds of leagues here. We have a new league called Impact. We have the Triple E Pool League. We have WALMAC, which is the sanctioned VNEA league, which is also was at one point double sanctioned for BCA. And then we have another one I've never played yet. It's called CCS, so which is part of the ACS, the American Cue Sports Association. So a lot of different leagues. The one I'm going to be playing in this summer is a VNEA league, and in that league, a scratch on the brake, you shoot from behind the line. So that's how I'm going to be approaching these games, just so you know. So we have ball in hand in the kitchen. We can't shoot backwards. We can only shoot forwards. And I'm looking at this rack, and I'm thinking, what do I want to take? What do you guys take? Let me know. And why? How do you run this rack? I want to know that. I talked about the first couple racks myself. I want to hear someone on there. Just tell me the numbers. Can you make out the numbers? You know, we got the 4, 5, 7, 1, 3, 2, 6. You know, do you do a breakout? What do you do? How do you get out of this rack? Do you have any questions? Do you want to know if anything goes or what doesn't go? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to grab my phone right now. And we're going to call this the viewer rack. Okay, we're going to do the viewer rack, and we're going to turn to the viewers, and the viewers are going to decide how we run this rack out. Okay, so you as the viewers, you guys tell me. You have any questions? You want to know if something goes, if something doesn't go? Let me know. Does the 9 go? Yes, it does. The 9 goes by the 8, bang time. The 9 goes by the 8. 11. The 11's blocked by the 5. It's tight, but the 11 will squeeze by into that corner pocket. This is the 7 here. This is the 4. So the 4 and the 5. So the 11 does not go by the 5, but it will go by the 4 right here. I got about a half a pocket. And I'm using the JF power brake. Incredible brake cue. Absolutely incredible. I'm not incredible at braking, but that brake cue is incredible. So there you go. $15 in the side, 13 the other side. Okay. How do you run it out? I got ball in hand anywhere here. Ball in hand. I like where you're going, Bang Time, and I'm just gonna interrupt because I get what you're saying. You're asking the same questions that I asked myself. First thing I asked myself was, does this 9-ball go? Fact is, it does. 3 doesn't though. So that's 1 point for 9. That's 1 point for stripes. Like I said, if it's a really obvious situation, like this one to me is pretty obvious, but if it's not an obvious situation, what I like to do is I like to break down the table into 3 sections and break it down per section. Sometimes I'll have, stripes are better in this quadrant, solids are better in this quadrant, stripes are better in this quadrant. Or it's not a quadrant, it would be a third. Quadrant would be 4. What am I even saying? Anyway, I break it down to thirds, okay? So then I would be like, stripes is better in this third. Solids is better in this third. Stripes is better in this third. So that's 2 to 1 for stripes, so I'm taking stripes. I've had to do that on tough racks. It's kind of a way, sometimes you're playing league and you don't want to sit there and take forever thinking about it. So I'll just do it that way. I'll break it down into thirds. Another thing I do, which is at more of an advanced level, is I'll look at potential problems and how I can solve those problems, and that will determine which balls I take. Like if I have a bunch of balls tied up here and there's a 13 ball here that's in an opportune position to break those balls out, then I might want to take stripes for that reason alone. Some of the basic ones, like we've gone through already, blocker balls, okay? This 6 ball is blocking any stripe from going into this pocket. This 10 ball is blocking this 7 from going in this pocket, all right? But from here, 10 ball goes, 14 goes, 11 goes, 15 goes. These all go, the 9 ball goes, and the 8 ball goes. So for me, easy decision, stripes here all day, all right? After the 15 and the 13, okay, this is the 12, guys, sorry. I think cue ball control, I think you mean this is the 12, 13. So you mean the 12, 13 in the sides. Then 10, 14, 11, 12. This one, you would say is the 12, 12 in the side. 9 and then the 8. You like the 9 last before the 8, hey? Is your key ball? Why? Yeah, bang time, I knew you thought the 12 was a 15 too. Sorry, this ball's set and my camera isn't the best, but... Okay, guys, I'm going to ask you, what is your last ball before the 8 and why? That's a good question. What is the last ball that you shoot before the 8 and why? Because maybe I could learn something here. Cue ball control sometimes says he wants his last ball to be the 9 ball. For me, that's not my last ball, but I want to know why. I'm not saying it's right or wrong because who am I? I'm an amateur. We're all amateurs. I want to know why you take that 9 ball last. It is a great ball. Like if you're on this side of the 9, you shoot the 9, you come into 13, and that 8 ball is open all day. So, that's a good question. But this 8 ball is easy and open from anywhere on this rail, right? Anywhere, even up to here, anywhere in this rail. So, I'm almost like in the 12 and then, 12, 13, and then get this 9 out of the way and come back into the rack. You know, if I end up here on the 10, fine. If I end up on the 15, or if I play for the 14, that's fine. I like this path for the cue ball right here. I really like it because right here on this path, I got the 10, I got the 15, I got the 14, and if I were to even go too far, I'd have the 11. So from here to here, I really like this path of the cue ball. And, you know, this is one of the things we got to start thinking about in 8-ball is, you know, these paths. These are advanced paths. It seems very simple, but this is one of the beauties of 8-ball. If you could find this path, you look like a pro, man. You come out of here, you have so many different options to play position on down this path. Once you get past here, you really can't go wrong. So you have a large window to play position. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the 12, 13, and then I play this 9, and I'm playing this 9, and I'm coming down this path right here just for that. And then I'm working out these 4 balls, and I'm coming to this cushion over here, and I'm shooting the 8-ball up in the corner. That's how I see this rack. But, you know, what do you guys think about that? Yeah, see, I get what you're saying. If it's you're playing an opponent, you leave the 9-ball last, but the 9-ball isn't blocking the 3 or anything. The 8-ball is. So I'm going to show you the path. This is the path I would play here. 12 to the 13 to the 9. That's the way I'm playing that. I mean, I get that it's not the best, but that's why I play it like that. Now I was playing for all 3 balls again, right? I want to really make sure I'm committed to this run out when I take this 10 ball out of here because, you know, I'm opening it up for my opponent, right? So let's look at this. Let's look at this 14. Okay. Actually contact the 7 there a little bit because I wanted to be nice and straight on the 15. Just trying to hit this 7 so that I would be straight on this 15 ball. So now, a little bit funny here, but now I have to play a precise draw shot. So, you know, I see the benefit of your leaving the 9 there. It's not a bad decision either. So risky shot is shooting this 15 and coming into the 14. That's too risky. Better to play this 14 and play position on the 15 in the side. So where do I want to be on this? I want to be in this area, right? So I'll visualize this area right here. And I'll say, okay, I want to be there. Not too bad, but I want it to be a little off the rail, right? Because now, like I have this window that I got to stay inside of. So I'm jacked up on this 15 now, just to draw back a little bit so I can get this 8 ball, right? A stop shot's good, so I don't need to go too crazy, but I want to draw it back a little bit. That's what I mean. It was didn't have to think about a nice safe shot on this 8 ball, potting it in, and that is how I would get out of that rack. Okay? Do another one. I really enjoy the feedback, guys. I really enjoy the patterns, the choices, the explanations. This is exactly what I wanted from this stream. You guys are giving it to me. There's only 2 of you here, and I really appreciate it. Well, I think there's like 7 or 8 people watching, which is great. There's only 2 people really getting engaged in the stream. I want to have more engagement. If you are getting any value out of this stream, please hit the like button, share it. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Let's do another rack. Cuba control. You don't like side shots at the end? Yeah. Believe me, pal, neither did I. I wasn't planning on leaving myself that side shot for the end. I really wanted to be straighter on that 10 ball so that I could stop on the 15 and then shoot that corner shot. So let's try a second ball break here, and maybe we can get a little bit of a mess, and we can get a little bit of a more technical safety rack. I scratched again, that time double hit. Alright, whatever. Like I said, I need to watch some videos on breaking. I'm terrible at it. Terrible at breaking. Okay guys, stripes or solids? First thing I look at is this 8 ball. Okay, so the 9 will pass. And it can also bump this 6 so that the 8 ball will go in here. Another thing we could do, we could get an angle on the 10 to bump the 6 into the 8, try to bump the 8 into the open, but then we risk tying up the 9. So that's for stripes. This 2 ball is blocking, or this 11 ball is blocking the 2 from the corner. But we do have some options as far as solids as well. You know, we could play a breakout here, get an angle on the 4, draw it into the 8 ball, and glance off of it, and we get a chance at the 7, or we get a chance on the 2. So that's an option. So I don't know. I don't know here. Again, we got ball in hand here, behind the line or on the line. Really don't like playing the 11 first because it opens up the whole rack for my opponent, but it might be the best shot. I could play this 5 ball up in the corner if I want to take solids, but I really got to figure out a plan for solids. Just looking at this, I just realized the 6 ball does go up into that corner pocket. If we could get position on the 6, you know, which we can. We could get to the 4, to the 7, to the 6. Right? Risky, and like cue ball control sometimes said, you know, one rattled ball and this is game over. You need to get on this 6, play draw, play the 2 up into that corner, and then the 8 into this corner. So if I was playing solids, these last 1, 2, 3, 4 balls would be my choice for the last 4. And I'd have to play perfect position on almost all 4 of them. So it comes with a lot of risk. What's the plan for stripes though? You know, what's the plan for stripes? Do you have a pattern for stripes? $14 in the corner past the 11. Yes, it does. Goes straight in. Like this is, it's tight, but it goes straight in. Good eyes, bang time. I like that. Then what do you do with this 8 ball and stuff here, bang time? What do you do? What's your plan? The 9 goes in. You know, what do you do? 13 goes past the 9. So, you know, so then what you're saying is you're looking at 14, 12, 13, play the 9 and nudge the 6. And then play these 2. Or maybe it's good to leave the 13. So play the 14, the 12, and come just over here. Play that 9 ball, open up the 8. Then you have 2 different balls you can get position on. So that if the cue ball glances the 6 and freezes here, you got this 13 up into the corner, right? It's not a bad play. I like that. Do you like that? No, the 8 doesn't pass the 6. But the 8 will pass the 6 and go up here later. But 8 ball's right here. And you can't see enough of the 8 to make it in this pocket. You have to break it out. You have to break it out. Unless you play solids. And the 6... It will actually, I think it might go up into that corner as well. It's really tight though. The 6 goes into that corner and it might potentially go in that corner. One potential here that you can't see is I got this post right here. And it makes, you know, I got a post right here. Right where I'm standing. I don't know if you can see, it's about, so I have a short stick because I have this post in my way a little bit. So I don't know. So cue ball control, what do you say? Stripes, solids? Free the 8 with the shot on the 9. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. 9, 8 opposite corner, then need a bump. Yeah. Okay, let's give it a shot. I'm going to go for this 14. Ah, missed that opening shot. That's a bummer, man. You know what? That's kind of why I was thinking solids. Not because it was the wrong choice. But because myself personally, I struggle with those. I struggle with these shots where, you know, this 10 will go through there, but visually I struggle with this. Shooting it through, like it would have, you know, like that 10 goes through there, but you know what I mean? Like it's almost like my mind plays tricks on me. This 10 will go through, but there we go. Well, we can't run them all out, can we? If we did, we'd be on we did, we'd be playing matchroom invitational events, right? Who's winning now? I saw Josh Filler. Josh Filler beat. Was it Albin? Yeah. Race to 7, single elimination, winner break. Crazy. Okay, let's try another one. That was a flop. All right. Pretty wide open table here. I have shots on the. I have shot on the 13. I have a shot on the 7 ball. The 8 ball is tied up by the 9. 10 ball. You got a combination here, 10-14. The 14 does go. The 10 will not pass the 7. So got a shot here, really tight position, but I can play the cue ball through here for the 9. If I want to play stripes. If I want to play solids, I have this 7 ball, and I have to cheat the pocket just slightly and get the cue ball to bounce up here for this 5 or 4. Okay? They both go into the corner. And then the only thing I have to worry about, the 6 goes in this corner, the 3 goes in this corner, 6 goes into the side. So the only thing I have to be concerned about is getting position on this 8 ball somewhere around here. You know? 3 ball will also pass the 13 this way. So, I mean, key ball is almost the very first shot here. I can hit this with outside and probably miss the 12 and come into the 6 or something like that as well. But this 14-10, it looks like more of a problem than the solids. So I'm curious to see what you would take here. Three in the corner. No, the 3 doesn't pass. I don't have ball in hand here either, so gotta shoot from here. Made a ball on the break. And I think this is rack number 5, so I think, my voice is getting a little, doing all this talking, my voice is getting a little bit tired. So I'm realizing that like a 2-hour show is really a lot. So I think going through 5 racks every show is a great thing to do. So I think we'll do 5 racks each episode, and that usually takes about an hour and a half by the looks of it. And we'll go through 5 to 7 racks depending. If we have a couple fast racks, I was planning on showing you guys, okay, in this rack it's such a messed up rack. What I would do is I'd make this ball, and then I would play safe. And I plan on doing some racks like that just to show how I would take control of the game and then pass control to my opponent only when I wanted to pass that control to them, so that I'm still controlling the position that my opponent is in. That's what we want to do. We want to be in a position where even if we have to lose control of the table, we want to be in control of how we pass that off to our opponent. That's very strong information, powerful stuff. So, yeah. In this rack, I'm thinking 7 balls straight top come up for the 4 or the 5 ball. Depending on the pattern, get on the 6, 6-3. I would like to take the 6 and 3 last. So I'd like to shoot the 7, get rid of the 4, 5, 1, And then I would like to somehow get on the 6 and 3 last to get onto the 8. That's what I'm thinking here. For stripes, the thing is, if I could get straight on this 15 somehow, like if I can get it on this 14, I can cut the 14 in. Cue ball hits the 4 ball, gets over here, and this 10 ball goes into the side, and it'll probably also go into this corner at that point. So, you know, the stripes are possible here. I just need to take a little bit more of a look. I find it really hard to plot this 13 and miss the 12. I can miss it and then take my 9 ball, but what if I land funny on the 9? You know, we've all been there. You get funny on your first shot and now you're fighting, right? You're fighting to control it. So, which could easily happen off the 7, but I'm going with my gut here. I'm going to play the 7, I think. 7, 5 or 4, 1, 6, 3, 8. I like to stop my run at 1 ball. 1 ball left, go to the other suit, and do a safety battle with myself. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea for practice. And here we go. So I'm looking at the different options here. This 3 ball is tight in this corner, but the reason why I'm looking at it is because I'm considering playing the 5 and coming up for the 6, and then playing the 1, getting on the 3, and then stunning to the 8. So just because of where I am on this 5, I'm a little off center on the 5, and I'm a little off on the 1. And I think my only other option is to play the 5 and then play top on the 1 and try to float by here. But it's like, it's a really touchy zone here. You know? So, might be better to try to play for this 6 ball or the 3 ball. But I don't know. I think probably the 5 ball is the shot. Try to hold it as much as possible. Play the 1. Less cue ball movement is usually better in 8 ball. Be nice if the 6 goes by this one. The 6 doesn't go by the 15, so maybe I might have to try to stun it through this way. But my side pockets are extremely tight, so it has to be a very precise shot. You know? But that is the way to get there here, is to play bottom. And I don't like it because, you know, this 15 is huge and I don't have a big window for position, right? but I don't really have a choice. If I play topspin here, you know, might be able to roll up for the 3, but I don't really like that. So I'm going to play this confidently with a little bit of bottom to avoid the 15. Alright. Again, I didn't want the 3 ball, I wanted the 6, but that's the thing with these light, this light cue ball set. And cue ball control, sometimes you don't want to play that. You don't want to play that side pocket shot last, but here I am again, and I'm gonna have to play it last again. You know, just because playing the 6 here, I got a little funky on this. My best chance is to play the 3 and draw back for the 6 into the middle. It's my best chance. So, you know, it's a touchy shot. What are you gonna do? Sometimes you gotta play what you're given, right? I missed it. I didn't even draw it that close. Not even close to far enough. So I got this tough shot in the 6 in the corner, and looks like we might be banking the 8 ball. Unless I play a fancy draw shot in between here, out to here. You know, that's my other option. Get a fancy stroke. Stroke this ball through this window and out here for an 8 into the corner. Or we can cinch it. If we're a bank player, we can cinch it and we could play this bank shot. Right? Whoa, I even got too much on it. Oh, look at this, I got totally lucky. I was trying to stop it here and I got way too much on it. But we got fortunate. And we have a cut into the side. And it's not an easy shot. These can be a lot more difficult than they look. But let's try it. And we overcut it. So there you go. Almost got 3 runouts out of 5. Or did we get 3 runouts out of 5? But we were scratching. So let's play the stripes out here. So when you're playing out a shot where the guy misses the 8 or girl misses the 8, your opponent misses the 8 ball, you know, and you gotta build up that confidence, right? You know, might be a pressure situation. You might be like, your team might be counting on you. It could be the 25th game in a 25 game format, and you know, all the pressure's on you. You know, do you play safe or do you go for the run? You know, a lot of the time when you go for the run in these kind of scenarios, you want to try to play the 2-way shots, because the 2-way shots are going to give you confidence, right? I know if I pot this ball and I try to play position over here, you know, if I do wobble it and I still play position over here, you know, my opponent's going to be hooked. So it's kind of like it gives you a little extra confidence to make the shot. You know? In this case, you know, this is a little bit of an issue here. You know, you got to deal with it. You got to get this 13 out of there before the 12. Or you got to get, you know, get to the 13 and get on the 12 up into the corner. All right? So, how do you play this? How do you play this? I play the 14 first, you know, all day here, but that's me. You could play the 9 first here. You could play this 9 ball, you know, and you could play play off the cushion here for this 13, and it's a kind of a safe shot because, you know, even if you miss it, if you leave your opponent here, it's like a big time scratch shot. Like to cut this in and avoid the scratch in the corner is hard, and vice versa. To cut this into the corner and avoid the scratch from here is hard. So you are leaving them a bank shot, but the 9 ball is a good shot to take on. It can be a good shot to take on because you can be confident about, you know, what you're leaving, and that is key information when you're in this situation. Not only which order am I shooting the balls, but what am I leaving should I miss the shot. Okay. Yeah, bang time. I see that roll up. You wanted me to roll up and play the 6 in the side and 3 in the bottom corner, but the angle that I had there on that side shot was more than it looked. So yeah. Cue ball, can you give me a name? Can you give me your name? Is it too much to ask? It's annoying to say cue ball all the time. I guess bang time, I don't have his name, but I guess I'll just call you cue ball. So you know. Okay. I don't even, truthfully, bang time, I'm not even sure I think I knew your name before, but I forget what it is now. Anyway, if you guys want to go by your handles, that's cool too. I don't care. So for me, I don't mind this 15 ball last because it's in the middle of the table and it goes to every pocket. The 10 ball is also a great last ball. This 9 ball is a pretty good first shot. Let me see where I can go with this 14. 14 is a pretty decent shot as well. And play for the 9. Or I could play the 14 and actually I could play for the 15 into the corner. But you know, that's a risky shot because you're taking on everything there, right? You're taking it all on. And on this one, you know, I mean, you gotta, at some point, you just gotta go for it, right? So I think actually the 14 is a good shot, and you could play it aggressively. You could play it to hit the cushion here and come in behind this 12 ball, you know, and come in behind the 12 if you want. And come up for the 13. A lot of good things can happen there. So let's try that. I don't know if I can do that from here as well as I want to, but let's give it a shot. I like this because I get on the 13, right? See? So I'm on the 13 now. And that's my problem ball. So now I'm looking to get the 13 and you know what? This it's 9 ball. Sometimes these middle shots can be tricky, right? It's like cue ball says, you don't want to be leaving yourself a side shot last because you think it's ideal, but it's really not. So I'm going to play, whenever you're playing 8 ball, it's good to play in an area, in a zone as much as you can. So in this zone here, coming down this line, right? Because over here, you know, there are a lot of good things that can happen down this line, you know. This 15 ball does pass, this 10 ball goes, the 9 goes. So it's good to see that path and get the cue ball to travel that because you're increasing your chance of position. It is also important to play position on 1 ball, but I mean, it's just a good practice to come down a good line, right? It's just a really good practice to learn how to do that because, you know, you give yourself a lot of options if you underhit or overhit something. It shows you're looking at everything, right? So I actually underhit that a bit. That's okay, it kind of works out here, and I'm playing to this zone again. So I'm playing to the second rail here. like cue ball does, to control my speed a little bit. I'm going to cut this one in and come to the second cushion. Right? And there's also got a bit of a two-way there, right? So we got options here. We're down to three shots. It depends how comfortable you are with your draw. I like drawing the ball. I'm getting used to drawing with this carbon fiber. Using J-flower cues. Okay. Get a lot of action. So here I came a little bit farther. Like I said, I'm trying to control my bottom. I came a little bit far on this. You could play this confidently and come 2 cushions towards this 10. Or you could try to cinch it. But when you cinch it, you're leaving yourself a little bit longer. Sometimes it's good to just let your stroke out a little bit and play the line of the shot. Right? So now I overhit this one, of course. But I played the line of position there. I played into the line of the shot, right? So, you know, it's still cuttable. I'm going to play a little bit of inside to correct off this rail and hit the second rail. And again, I'm coming into the line of the shot. So, you know, just going to look at this shot here. And here we go. A little bit of I'm playing a little top right on this, a little 1 o'clock. Just to correct it. Second rail, and I'm nice and straight in on this 8 ball. So there we go. All right, guys. So I think that was the. I think that was a good exercise of basically kind of what we're going to see on this channel. On this live stream, and I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in and really supporting me. Huge bang time. Cue ball, thanks guys so much. Did you want to do one more rack? I'll give you the option. We could do one more rack and then call it. But I think this was a good test. I'm going to go back and I'm going to see how many racks we did. I think it was 5. So, you know, keep that as the norm. And talk about some other options. Did you enjoy this? Is this something you think will take off? Is this something that you think is beneficial to our amateur community? Because that's what I'm trying to do with my channel. I'm trying to give back to the community. I hear a lot of people talking about some channels. This one's for amateurs, this one's for this one's for that. I want to be for the amateurs. I want to be for the lower division players like myself. I'm not exactly a low division player. I have a ton of experience, but I'm by far not a professional player. But I feel like I have way more knowledge up here than I actually have on there. And it's because of how I grew up. I grew up around pool halls. I've been playing pool since the age of 14. I'm 46 years old, so that's 32 years of being obsessed. And I mean, I'm not kidding. I am obsessed with pool. I'm obsessed with snooker, 9-ball, 10-ball, straight pool, 1 pocket. I'm obsessed with cue sports, and I've amassed a large amount of knowledge, and I'm not saying I have more knowledge than you know, a lot of people, but the truth is I do have quite a bit of knowledge, and I like to share what I know, and I'm also constantly learning. And I realize that the people in my community also have a large amount of knowledge. So I'm trying to continue to be a student of the game, and I always will be. Like I said, I'm obsessed with pool. My wife, she she reminds me of that. You know, but you know, deep down, she really loves playing pool too. So, and she's a hell of a shot. When she was playing, she hasn't been playing for a long time, but when she was playing, she was my favorite Scotch doubles partner. Like I could leave her any shot, and I did, because my position was horrible. But she could pot any ball, it seemed like, you know. Anyway, I'm meandering here. I'm going off, and yeah, thanks, Guy. Really appreciate it. You know what, you guys, let's talk about one scenario in pool that I thought of this week, okay? And this might be beneficial. I'm sure you know, a couple of you guys that are watching, you'll know this scenario, but I'm going to explain one scenario for the amateurs, for the mid-levels, a scenario that comes up a lot in pool that they might not know how to deal with properly. Okay? Let's look into that. You got a stripe and a solid. You're coming down to the end of the game. You're coming down to the end of the game. That's solids, right? You got stripes, right? Okay, let's do it like this. And let's do it like this. Perfect example. Okay, so how many times have y'all seen this scenario, right? What do you play? What do you play here? You know? Let's use a different solid. Yellow is harder to see. Let's use a different solid, okay? These don't bank. These don't bank. They're kind of funny. Okay? So, you got this scenario down to the end of the game, you know, and say the 8 ball's open, you know, and see if I can get the 8 ball. The 8 ball's open, and you got to win this game. So how do you do it? We all know this safety. Some people don't. But, you know, if you're playing safe here, you want to get yourself in a position, if you're stripes, you want to get yourself in a position like this, right? How do we win this safety game, right? We freeze up to this one, and make sure you give enough space so that you can, with a ball in hand, you can get over there, right? And you just hope that you don't have a player that's really good at kicking 2 rails, right? Because you got to kick this one 2 rails to get behind and hook them back, right? Tough shot, but that wouldn't be too bad. But again, you left your opponent a shot, and you know, they might make that and win the game. Same thing with solids. You know, say your solids. You see this scenario? Sometimes it's better to just get into that game. Don't play the safe. Don't play the try to break out. Just try to get yourself into position. Play position to play the safety. And your goal with this safety shot is you want to give yourself enough space where if you got a ball in hand, you can put the cue ball in there. Make sure you get enough space, right? You know, and you're making it tough for your opponent. Even if your opponent can see the ball, you know, they have to kick it perfectly and hook you back, right? And if they can't do that, they might intentionally foul. So like if you left it like this and you're playing an opponent, they might go for the kick, but they got to get the safety, so they might actually hit it with speed and create distance. Or you might see something like this, where they freeze it back up again, right? And you take your ball in hand, and now you got to do it again. Give yourself enough space. And in that case, you want to make sure you hit it past the side pocket. Because if you hit it over the side, you're leaving them, you're leaving them a chance to make it here, right? Like this one is a crazy inside spin masse shot, and you have a chance. You have a chance to actually make that one. I had a chance to, but it's a really tough shot. You got to get a swerve on it. There it is. But yeah, that's the safety that I want to show mid-level players. But this comes up often, and sometimes you're better off to not try to break it out. You're better off to get position on this and play this safety. That's my tip. That's my tip for that situation. And that situation comes up so much in 8-ball, right? These safeties. Give yourself enough space to. This one's more dangerous because, it's harder to leave yourself space and not give up a shot, right? It's harder. In this scenario, as there's two ways to kick this ball. You either want to kick it thin and leave them a bank, or you want to kick it soft and hook them back. Let's try both ways. Try to kick it soft and hook them back here. Let's try that. See, I hit the wrong side of the ball. Now that's a really hard shot for my opponent though. But the goal is to hook them back. So let's try again. It's looking better. And did we get the hook? We almost got the hook. It's a tough shot. And the other way to kick it is to hit it thin, but a little firmer. You can't see the wall is actually like really close. I don't like with my cue touching my wall in my basement, the cue tip's right there. So like I have actually pretty tight space to work here. So bear with me. I'm going to try to hit this one firm and leave a kick, like a bank maybe. See, even that's okay, right? You want to give yourself distance, But ultimately, you want to hit it thin. Let's try it again. That's even better, And yeah, you left them tough here, right? It's a tough bank. I mean, what are they going to do? Cut it in? I mean, I don't know. Go for the cut, but it's tough. That's how you win that. That's how you win that game. That's my last tip for today. And yeah. So thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. I hope you got some value out of this. If you did, please hit the like button, share the stream, and I'll see you next Saturday. Thanks a lot for coming out. Oh, hang on. Let's talk it out a little bit here. What are you saying? Going to tracking top right corner. 2 rails. Hey! MHF, what's up, bro? 2 rails, cue ball control. Which way? Which way do you hit it? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, if you have enough space, the 2 rail kick here is good. If you have enough space, that's a good kick, right? I like that. This one, but can we all agree this comes up a lot in 8-ball pool, and you got to be able to know how to beat this one. You got to know how to win this battle, because this battle in 8-ball is like, I can't stress how often this battle comes up, and you got to be good at it. That's a loss right there. You just lost. So sometimes you got to be good at this shot. That's a loss, right? So it's a really tough scenario, and I would suggest just grab a friend. Grab a friend, put the 8 in the middle of the table, and put 2 balls. Put 2 balls like this, anywhere on the cushion. Put 2 balls like this. Give your opponent ball in hand and play against your friend. Say, hey, you know, this is a fantastic practice exercise. This comes up so much in 8-ball. Give your friend ball in hand. Say, okay, you have ball in hand, stripes or solids. Win the game from here. You know, this is the safety. Didn't leave enough space. Right? You want to be able to play that a little better than that. I should really be playing this on the other side of the table because I'm too trapped over there. Okay? So what I like to do is I like to try to hit it just a little off center and actually get the cue ball underneath the 9 if I can. See, that's not good because you kick it over the side pocket. An opponent can make that shot, you know? So, like, that's a makeable shot. Didn't make it that time. Give me 3 tries. Give me 3 tries. Didn't make it that time. 3rd time's the charm. All right, we didn't make it, but we came pretty close. So try this game with your friends. Put 2 balls, the 8 ball in the middle. Someone gets ball in hand, and try to win the game playing safeties. Just from here. This one's a little harder because you gotta be a little trickier. This one, like cue ball control says, this one is a 2-rail kick for stripes. The safety, hopefully, right? And you're gonna play this out with your partner. You go for a shot here. Here's a tricky little shot that you could play here. You freeze them right to it, right? But you're hooked. But you're hooked by the 8 ball here. But this is a tough shot. Then you're leaving them that, right? Now they're like, you know what? I don't know. It's just close. No. So, see, I would have lost. I would have lost this game to my friend because they would have for sure made the 9 and the 8. So yeah, there's a little game you can try if you guys are going to Vegas and you want to work on a safety and you don't know what safety you want to work on. I would suggest doing this drill with a friend. It's a great practice routine. Let me try it again just with myself. I'm going to play solids. All right. See, I like to get aggressive with it and leave a longer kick, because once you get the side pocket in play, it can be a real problem, right? If you wanted to get flashy, you know, a guy could go for the win here, or a player, I guess. A player could go for the win on this. Look at that, right? You could go for the win there, I said. Oh, missed the pressure shot. Okay, try that with your friends. That's a great exercise. All right? Great exercise. So this time I really am going to let you go. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and I will see you guys next weekend. Please share the stream, tell your friends about it, invite people. I'm trying to build a community here. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night.